How's it going, everybody? So we're out in the shop and today we're working on the Kukri build. Now, in today's episode, we're gonna go ahead and get the edge put on this. Now, what I'm gonna do on this is a little bit different than what I typically do on my knives. I'm gonna try something here. So I'm gonna do the main belt progression on the 2x72, and then I'm only going to use the leather strapping belt on the 1x30. The reason behind that is I just want to try it and see if it's possible. Now, of course, we got a lot of curve here, so what I'm going to be doing is instead of sharpening it on the platen, I'm going to use kind of the slack area between the tracking wheel and the top wheel of the platen area, and we're going to see how this works. Now, I've got all the way up to 800 grit belts that go on this 2x72, so we're going to go up to an 800 grit, we're going to leather strap it, and we're going to see how sharp it is. If it doesn't get as sharp as I want it, we'll go ahead and use the 1x30, but I think that this is going to work, so we're going to try it. So let's jump into it, let's get it knocked out. So I got this idea to sharpen it this way from a video that I watched about a few people who came together and made a chef's knife. One of the people were from the Forged and Fire show, and then it was a few other random knife makers that just make beautiful knives. The main guy, his name is Neil. He's a Hawaiian dude, and he makes some awesome knives on Instagram and does TikTok and all that. But I'll tell you, if I was doing it this way on a chef's knife, it would definitely be a lot easier, but because of how much recurve is on this, I did have to kind of mess around with how I was sharpening it and, you know, changing a few things up. So what I had to do a little different is I worked the whole entire edge just to set my secondary bevel where I wanted it, and then I started focusing on different parts of the blade. Like what I'm doing right now is focusing on the recurve part of this, you know, that where the belly comes up towards the spine, and I'm just getting that exactly where I want it and making sure that that edge is directly in the center. And then I start focusing on the part of the blade going towards the tip, that upsweep that we have on this, and I get that set where I want, and then I'll start going from one end all the way to the other and blend all of that together so that the bevel is nice and consistent. The goal for this first belt is really just getting the bevels where I want them, making sure that edge is centered and everywhere it needs to be. And that first belt was actually a 120 grit belt. This belt is a 600 grit belt, and you can see that I sprayed the Windex on there. That just keeps the belt from getting gummed up. And now we're really focusing on doing the whole entire edge and blending everything together and starting to build up a little bit of a burr. That's what I'm looking for as I'm doing this, is am I creating a burr, and am I getting a burr all the way down the cutting edge? Because the last thing you want is for parts of this blade to be sharp and the other parts to not be. So you're trying to get that burr all the way across it. Now, this is an 800 grit belt, and I'm just going to keep doing the Windex. Now, with this one, we're really starting to develop a real good burr at this point. And I'm just going to keep going with it until I feel like my edge is uniform throughout the whole entire cutting edge, to where it has the same bevel, it has a nice burr, it doesn't have any waves or ripples in it. I'll tell you, one of my biggest pet peeves is whenever you have a beautiful knife that has really awkward or offset cutting edges. I don't know, that just drives me crazy whenever I see a beautiful knife and then they get to doing the cutting edge, and that's where they decided to get lazy. So this just looks absolutely beautiful, and I like the way that looks. Nice and uniform. So now when it comes to the leather stropping belt, I'm definitely not going to be getting one of these for a 2x72. The 1x30 size is just perfect for what I do, and all we're doing with this is just taking that burr that we developed while sharpening it on the 2x72. We're taking that and we're knocking it off to just leave the nice razor sharp edge when it's all said and done. And this bad boy is sharp. I mean, you could shave with the whole entire cutting edge on this. Okay, so it's kind of windy, so I'm going to try and get through this before the wind blows it over. So, paper towel roll, nice super clean cut. Water bottle. Didn't even move the water bottle. Nice. And there you go. So I'm going to see if I can get this to focus on this. So you see this line that's right here? That right there is where I chopped through that piece of 2x4 and it went into the top of this. And it did nothing to that edge. Man, that's nice. Well guys, let's go ahead and wrap up today's vlog. Now, I'm super happy with how this knife performed. I love the overall shape of this. I love the Kukri design. I really love the handle shape on this. It's super comfortable, feels great in the hand, and then I love how the etching process turned out on the knife. It turned out exactly how I wanted it to, and it is so comfortable. Really love this. Now, one of the things that I still need to do for this knife is make a sheath for it. I'm going to end up doing a video on that process. Now, I've got a few other sheaths that I need to make first, but this one's going to be a pretty complicated sheath because of the way that the blade has to go into it. Plus, I'm going to do a multi-piece, multi-layer sheath. So we will have that coming out. It's not going to be one of the videos that's coming up here soon because I've got a couple of things that I need to order for that sheath, but that will be coming up. Now, what I want to get is y'all's opinion on what I should do next. Now, when it comes to the Damascus build, I was going to go ahead and go straight into that one, but I want to make sure that I'm doing everything right and I'm taking my time with it. And I'm afraid that if I start that this week and release the first video Friday, that it's not going to give me much time to really plan it out right and get everything exactly how I want it. And I'm going to feel kind of rushed because it's, you know, get a bunch of stuff done. I've got to do a Shop Talk Tuesday video. Then I still got to work and do all that stuff. And I wouldn't be able to devote that much time to that build before Friday came out, so y'all wouldn't get much of a video. And then I immediately had to get some more stuff done so I can release a video on Sunday. And then it just builds up and I'll start feeling stressed. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is do one of the other builds starting Friday, and while I'm doing that build, also be doing the Damascus build, so that whenever I finish the next build, I can go ahead and start releasing the videos, and I won't feel stressed like I need to rush the Damascus build, because I don't want to do that. I want to make sure it's right because it's my first time doing it. So if y'all want, I'll start the Damascus build and pull my hair out and be all stressed, or I'll go ahead and start one of the other projects. Now, I really want to start this one out of the 1/4 inch 80 CRV2, but the downside to this is it is a similar build to the one that I just finished, and if y'all want to see something different, I'll go ahead and do that, or I'll go ahead and start this build and y'all can watch it. You let me know if you want me to do one of my other builds, because I got a whole book full of them, and I've got different ones. Show you these. So these right here, this is a modified version of the Rivulet. The Rivulet's only this size right here, so this smaller blade that's inside here, and the handle's a little bit smaller. So I'm going to be doing a little bit beefier version of that with this 5160, the one that we textured. So I can either do that. We've got this drop point guy right here. I can do one of these, or I can go ahead and do this. Now I'll tell you, this is a lot more complicated and harder to make than those two, but again, it's the same type of knife-ish that I just finished. So if y'all want to see something different, you want me to do the 5160 knives, I'll go ahead and do one of those while I'm working on the Damascus knife, and we'll go from there. Y'all let me know. Guys, that's pretty much the end of this one. If y'all would, give this video a thumbs up, share this video or one of my other videos. And guys, bottom corner, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you get notified of the stuff that we have that's coming up, because we have a lot coming up. Okay? Guys, thank y'all for coming by. Thank y'all for spending your time with me. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there. I'll catch y'all next time.